Hello everyone and welcome to Moonride, where we're channeling the man in the moon. Before I do my channel, I'm going to ask you to do two things. One, I'm going to ask you to send love to some people in America or in the world who are being adversely affected, not only by Trump, but by dictators all over the place. It's helpful if you picture that person in your mind, whether it's children at the border, people who've lost their rights, whoever it might be. Have a picture of that person in your mind and just think of love. You take a moment, close your eyes, and send that love to them. It might seem like just a gesture, but it really does make a difference. Spirit knows that you're doing that, and Spirit will carry that message to them. Number two, if you're watching any kind of media right now, you're probably totally stressed out. You're going to bed with like all this stuff going on in your head. You're having an argument with your father-in-law, whatever it is. You're going through this kind of stuff all the time. It's very, very hard to sleep. It's very stressful. Maybe I'm speaking only from personal experience. But one thing that I think would be really helpful is before you go to bed, watch something funny or interesting or beautiful. Right? So I'm going to ask you, number two, at the end of this video, post a video that you think that people would really get a laugh out of, or really find inspiring, or at least interesting, whatever you think. That way, before you go to bed after you've watched all this news, you can watch something that really makes you laugh, or even feel beauty. When you do these two things, it really brings you close to Spirit. I always say that Spirit has a great sense of humor. Let yourself laugh, and remember when you're laughing that people like Donald Trump probably never really honestly laugh, right? This is a power that you have, right? And I want you to indulge yourself. So for number three, I'm actually just going to go for anything that Spirit tells me. I keep getting a kind of Adam Schiff feeling today, so that might be where I go, but we'll see just what Spirit delivers. Okay. Yep. Okay. So Adam Schiff. I am getting Adam Schiff. So Spirit, why do you keep showing me Adam Schiff's spirit today? Why do you keep showing him? Okay. So there's an interesting thing that happens, that is triangles. And often when I'm reading, especially for people, I'll see a triangle, and it means completion. Sometimes I'll even see a pyramid, and that's really completion. But for Adam Smith, I almost see him creating a triangle. It's just like he's doing something to connect the dots. And I'm seeing him talking to a large crowd of people, and I'm seeing him he's talking to a large crowd of people. They seem to be really excited about him. So I don't, does this mean he's going to run for president? Is that what we mean? He keeps smiling. It might be that he's going to throw his hat in at some point. It seems remarkable, but I wonder what this means. Why a triangle? What does that mean? Okay, now it's looking like a pyramid. There's some kind of completion that Adam Schiff is going to, somehow he's going to create some completed action. One thing that I'll just note for viewers is that some time ago I saw him as a president. In a sense, I kind of feel he's the real president. He's the one that's being honest. He's the one that whenever he talks, he looks like the president. You know, he's clear, he's honest, he's on it, he's not too crazy and emotional, he doesn't say ridiculous things. If anybody would be a real president right now, it would be Schiff. I just wonder, is there something more that he's going to do? Okay, you know what, I see him with a mop, okay? I wonder if he's just going to clean up some mess here. I think there's something that he's going to do to just complete and give us a full picture. Maybe it has to do with the Mueller report. I think it might have to do with Trump's kids, because I'm seeing their faces now. Yeah, look, I'm key on the lookout for Adam Schiff, and notice how he's behaving. And again, I want to say that he's behaving in a very presidential way. Adam Schiff it just seems very earnest to me. He seems like the most honest, earnest, I believe him. I don't think he's playing any kind of political game when I see his face at this moment. He is exactly who he seems. Okay, well that's refreshing. Now, Spirit, maybe you could tell me what else? What's important for people to know right now? Okay, well, Trump is really mad. Don't believe anyone who tells you that, oh, he feels vindicated. He is absolutely spinningly furious. So, you always see him hugging the American flag. I see him taking the American flag and almost like jousting with it. He's spinning it around and pointing it at people. He's attacking. It's just a very disturbing image because he's using the American flag to sort of attack people. Sometimes those flags have like kind of pointy things on it. He's just like almost like stabbing people. And he's stabbing everybody in sight. He's attacking, all these people, you even kind of think like he's attacking his kids right now. It's really like a very, not only destructive, but very self-destructive. It doesn't do him any good to go on this emotional, tirade against these people. They don't, they're doing their jobs. They're not as powerful as he is. He's the one that has the power. But he's just spinning in his almost like fury, and he's there in the Oval Office, and he's behind his desk, but he's just not doing what he's supposed to do. So, to me, this is fairly clear. He's going to really be on the attack, and it will not be constructive for Donald Trump. Anyone who tells you that the Mueller report somehow benefited him or it somehow vindicated him at all, forget about it. It did not. All it did was send him into a further tailspin, a further anxiety-laden rant. We can tell that Trump is just not doing well. I also think this has further implications. Now, all of that pointing, it's like, stop that subpoena. Don't see my taxes. You can't do that. Don't talk to the press. There's just a sort of beast at bay feeling about him. He cannot attack all of these things separately, which, again, I think is kind of the point of the Mueller report. It's to create 100 adversaries for Trump to fight separately because he cannot control all of them. He could control one. Right? He's just going really nuts. And he has no, as we know, he has no limit. So he's actually reaching into his desk and pulling out a gun and shooting someone. It's like him saying, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and no one would care. He really does kind of have that attitude. And he really believes that, except that it is not true. There are repercussions to his actions. They may not be the repercussions we want, but there are some repercussions for his actions. And he's making it a lot worse. Yeah, these are self-inflicted wounds. I see him inflicting wounds, right? Okay, so Spirit, there's this one question that's coming to me right now. Will Congress see the unredacted report, and when? Okay, does that mean no? Sometimes Spirit goes like this, and I don't know what that means. Okay. So... Wow, okay, so I'm on the steps of the Congress. There are these two doors, and Nancy Pelosi's there, and she's like, the door opens for a minute, and then it slams closed. And she's trying to pry it open, and other senators are trying to pry it open. And they're really, really working hard to get that door open. And it is tough. They are not succeeding. Okay, so they managed to open the door, but Barr is standing in the way. And he's hiding behind the American flag. How telling is that? I guess we know what that symbol means. Ah, now he's the one with the flag pointing at everybody, trying to stop them. But, they're kind of, like Nancy Pelosi's kind of putting her hands on her hips, like, really? Dude, you think you can stop me? I mean, you're William Barr. Like what are you going to do against me? So he's trying. He's really trying. Chuck Schumer actually makes an end run around him to get there while he is distracted. So I think that he's not going to give up this unredacted report. It's going to be work. I think it will go to court. I'm seeing a court right now. The court is not particularly sympathetic to them seeing the unredacted report. Yeah, they're going to have to fight tooth and nail to get this report. That's what I'm getting. And I'm getting even that the court is pretty dismissive, right? They're not backing the senators up. It's just taking it's just like a typical legal procedure. Months and months and months and months it's taking. Nancy Pelosi is pissed. She is really angry. And, it has a feeling of she's being patronized. Like, oh, you're just a girl. You can't read the report. This kind of patronizing aspect of the law. But I think she's eventually going to get it. She's kind of cracking a smile and looking like, yeah, well, I'm nobody's fool. I just want to emphasize this, that, part of the thing that's going on between power and people who have less power is that people who have less power are being called upon to become empowered persons. They're being called upon to get active. And in a sense, that is a good thing. It's almost like, well, we're going to throw down so much outrage for you so that you will respond because we think that this is important. In 10 years, we're going to have these battles again with oil companies who are much more powerful than we are, and we're going to have to fight and fight and fight. This is practice. Remember that there is a purpose for what's going on. There's a purpose for Miss Pelosi. Maybe she's kind of a Democrat. You might not say, aggressive enough, but she's being called upon to be aggressive enough, and she is nobody's fool. So she's there, and she's kind of going, yeah, you think you're smarter than me? Well, we'll see about that. And I almost see her like from a side, like from a sneaky side angle person. She's getting the report, like somebody comes over and says, here it is. It's kind of tricky. Yeah, lots of work, lots of subpoenas, lots of demands to get this. Okay, Spirit, is there something else? Yeah, Stephen Miller. Yeah, how did I know I would see him today? Ugh, such a creep. Well, that creepy little Miller, he's going to do something really gross. And again, this will be good in the sense that it exposes them for who they are. Creepy Steven. What are you going to do, man? Yeah, this is funny. I've seen this before. It's something involving a school bus. And I kind of have a feeling like migrants are on a school bus and something goes wrong. It might be that he's going to push the whole, send him to California thing again and send him to the sanctuary cities again. And that is just not going to be a good thing. I see him almost like getting stopped at some point, or I hope it's not an accident, but I feel like the bus is just getting halted. I'm seeing a lot of protests around this. And this seems like very important. It seems like it almost has a turning point type message where, your average person is being asked, are you really this dark? Are you really this evil? Are you really willing to, let people, fall into harm because of this? They're being mesmerized by certain news channels. But if you really were facing them and they were facing the situation, would they really do that? And there's something about it. And Steve Miller's fingernails are sort of growing. And it's almost like a Dracula kind of fingernails. And he's all creepy and stuff. Somehow, Stephen Miller's evil creepiness is sort of exposed. And this just could be one aspect of Trump that is being exposed as just like the darkest forces. What is he gonna do something? It's just, I see him like opening a can of beans and just eating it straight. He's just doing something to satisfy his hunger. And it's just the continuous hunger for human suffering that Miller represents. Maybe he just represents that in Donald Trump. And just seeing that sort of image just makes me think that it'll be a little bit more obvious to people. And, you know, in some sense, maybe some people are unmoved, but the people who are moved are really, really, really moved. It actually makes them even more active. The only benefit, perhaps, of Trump is that he has made people really, really active. And, you know, he almost represents somebody to oppose. In some sense, that could be a good thing. You know, America's been doing terrible things for a long time. But they're subtle. We don't notice them. They're out of our vision. You know, does anybody know how many people died in Iraq? We have no idea. I don't see them. I have to go to work every day. Here is this man, and every day he's in your face doing this stuff, making you upset and angry. Well, all right. It's about time we got upset and we got angry, and we saw and faced, you know, some of the terrible things that are really going on in our society. And in a sense, this is waking us up. I don't mean to downplay, you know, what many people are experiencing, because it's really awful to see. It can break your heart every single day if you let it. But think of this, it will help you to know that these images, these actions are activating people to be good. That's not a bad thing. We are becoming better people in response to what we see as dark and evil. And in that sense, we will always defeat these people. It takes a long time, and a lot of people could be hurt along the way. But love really does conquer all, and especially when it's the kind of active love that you, viewers, are really, really encompassing. Right? The last election is a perfect example of where active people who care went out and just pulled out all the stops. They were totally unselfish. They did something because they thought it was wrong. Nothing more. And that is really, in itself, a beautiful thing. Don't underestimate your own actions, however small. All right, and on that note, thanks for watching.